money too.
All right.
Welcome to Vinyl Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And this week it's my pick. Let's go. Love my pick weeks. I know there's a handful of you out there that also look forward to my picks. Shout out to you. This week we're listening to Alchemy by Disclosure. An album I didn't choose because I love the band, though they're great, but because this album really stuck out as one of my favorites released in 2023. Probably top 2? Top 3?
I only know their song Latch.
Great song. I think almost everyone does. It's a song featuring Sam Smith that came out in like 2013 from their first album,
Didn't they
Settle.
take credit for like finding Sam Smith?
No, I think Sam Smith was already
okay.
fairly popular by then. But if they did, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have, because Disclosure is a duo made up of brothers Howard and Guy Lawrence from Surrey.
What?
Not
From
Canada.
Oh, okay.
No, not this Canada.
All right.
England.
The good
Yeah.
one.
I did do the pause just in case someone wanted to ask who was from here.
And
the-
I
or the better
continually
one,
confuse
rather.
him with Erasure, another band from England.
Yes.
Which is two brothers.
This one's better, though. I first came across Disclosure back around the time of like 2013 when the album came out for their first album, because Latch and You and Me exploded in popularity with me being a young guy in college. I heard it a lot, going to clubs, going to parties.
You young guy in college.
Oh, it was a great time. Latch went hard, and You and Me also goes hard. But since then, I haven't listened to too much by them. I had heard some of Caracal, that animal, Caracal?
Caracol? Yeah.
Caracal? Because I dated someone who liked the album, and I got it in the auction, actually, for like $10. So I own a copy of that album, but I've never actually listened to both sides. And I've never really purposely sought out their stuff. Like, I'd listen to You and Me and Latch and stuff like that. And I didn't seek out Alchemy either. I stumbled across it when I opened Apple Music, and it was like the new release category.
Yeah.
And I went, that's a cool album color.
It's their 2023 album.
Yes, that's last year. I was like, wow, that's a cool album cover. And I clicked on it. I was like, oh, Disclosure. And listened to it. And I was driving to work, and I was like, oh, my God, this album is great.
It's a vibe.
I really like this. Jungle is a genre of electronic music that's been really popular lately. A lot of break beats, a lot of things on Instagram, TikTok. I mean, maybe it's just mine, but I'm absolutely loving it. Jungle's like kind of almost PS2 drum and bass music. A lot of break beats, some synth work, fast, kind of simple percussion, short loops. It's very good.
Would you say it's another one of those block rockin' beats?
Block Rocket.
What is that a reference to?
The song Block Rockin' Beats by the
Say
Chemical
less.
Brothers.
Chemical Brothers?
Yeah, the Chemical
Yeah, I
Brothers.
think
Chemical
so.
Brothers are good. You should listen to them.
Yeah, it's a genre that's like been around for a pretty long time.
Oh, yeah. It was really big in the UK.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, I mean, it makes sense with Disclosure.
You
But I
want
like house beats.
You like that song, The Funk Soul Brother?
Oh my God, we gotta pick a Fat Boy album and some.
Sorry, go on.
Y'all are wildin'.
Sing it for me. How does it go? I don't know that one.
Check it out now. Funk
Okay,
Soul
we-
Brother.
All right. Well, this is Disclosure's fourth album, and it comes 10 years after the release of their first album.
Crazy.
I don't actually have a whole lot of preamble for this. The fun fact, this is the first project by Disclosure to have 0 guest appearances or samples. It's all Howard's lyrics and vocals and Guy's beats. I think it's a really cool idea for a duo who became so famous by making remixes with crazy features and samples to make an album that has none of it 10 years later to show how far they've come, their skills, everything like that.
And they're no longer on a major label.
Yeah, it's
now.
their first release. I don't know if it was independent completely or just on a smaller label, but very cool. Very cool to kind of take this risk, this change on something so different. Reviews on this album are decent, but they're kind of all over the place. Some reviews say it's the freshest Disclosure has been in ages, and others say it's not the music they go to Disclosure for. It's the album that made me go, screw you, Anthony Fantano, because he gave this a middling to negative review, and I was like, you're just wrong, because he was in the boat of, this isn't really what I want from Disclosure. But he's wrong. I'm in the camp of this being experts showing up to a viral genre to show what experience can bring, because Jungle's been around for a long time. Like, just because it's having a viral spike right now doesn't mean it's new, so them being able to show how it's done is pretty neat.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jamie?
Oh, man, I really like this album. I don't know why. This isn't the kind of music I listen to, but I like it. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a vibe. It's very spring.
Yeah.
Like, it's summery, but not like bright sun. It's like, yeah, it's just good.
Airy.
Airy,
yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I'm not into, like I keep repeating myself, but I'm not into this kind of music. Had I not been requested to listen to this for the podcast, I would never have. Mm-hmm. But I like it.
That's
There's
great.
a couple of songs that if I had a playlist that was ongoing, I would add to it. But I don't.
I've got a few on ongoing playlists. That makes sense.
But this is a surprise. And I thank Belle for introducing it to me. Just like I thanked him for introducing me to the other one, Electric
Guessed.
Guest.
I was wondering to see if
Electric
you get it.
Teeth.
Yeah, Electric Teeth. I mean, great art, truly. Elevator Teeth.
Elevator, the Electric Man.
E.T.
Yeah.
Plouffe,
I
what do you
like
think?
I like it for the most part. It's definitely like new jungle. Sounds a little different. Like I actually didn't quite place it as jungle until a few tracks in.
Yeah, there's some that are much more
Yeah,
influenced.
yeah, for sure. I'll say this. I'll talk more about it in final verdict, but I definitely prefer the first half quite a bit. And it's funny that you mentioned driving because I actually I liked the album when I reviewed it, and I was like, oh, I'll drive to this album. It would probably be a great driving music. I actually don't think it's very good for driving to if you listen to the whole album all the way through because it's a bunch of songs have like a very slow start and end. And so when I drive, I just want constant music for the most part. I don't want like fade outs and like, I like tracks bleeding into each other. That's always really cool. But they do these like weird kind of interludes between them. And
almost
so,
every song.
Yeah. So I was driving and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this song's taking forever to kick in. And then it stops. And then I'm like, oh, this song's taking like forever to get to the next one. So I think while you're driving, like in the middle, oh, fantastic. Like, yeah, it's really good. But then I would love to hear this whole album with like 3 minutes cut from it.
Yes. That's all it would take to get out all of those
Pretty
weird
much.
in-between bits.
Yeah.
And I agree because it makes it hard to add songs to playlists when you know at the end you're going to hear a guy running.
Totally. Or like,
door.
yeah, a car
Yeah, it's like,
getting
okay.
turned on.
Or
whatever,
like a cell phone.
And that's why I kind of place it as like a spring album because summer kind of feels like it should be exciting, like you're trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Versus this is like traveling to a destination. Like it's slow, you don't have to worry about it. There's songs where it's more kind of peaceful but still energetic kind of thing where it's like a after rain kind of a feel.
Yeah.
But I do agree. It's like the problem of skits where it's like I kind of just want to hear the song now.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of songs I think on all of the ones that have some sort of interlude I've written down what it is because it's like as he's tired from the run that was at the beginning of the song and the end of the last song and it's like okay.
It's when I was listening to the album actively writing notes, I was like, oh, that's cool. I really like this because I like old experimental music that does that kind of thing and like ties songs together. But when I want to listen to this not actively and I just want music in the background, I don't know if I'd ever put it on, which is a shame because I really liked a lot of the tracks.
Yeah. I think most of the time I don't mind because like some of these songs are on my playlist and I don't think I've ever really recognized, the running or whatever.
Sure.
But I would never put them in like a party playlist.
No, because
all
there's
of a
that
sudden
dead
there's gonna be
air.
a silence. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
you don't want that during like a party or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is interesting to create an album that is almost meant to be played front to back every time because of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, interesting choice.
And it's like it's dance music. Like
I wonder if it has a single version of some of the songs, like where it doesn't have any of
like a radio edit.
yeah,
I love that.
Or like DJs, it'd be really easy because they can fade out this song while the next one comes in. Like that's fine. So it's great for the club if someone's actively DJing it. But I would never like make a playlist for a party with these songs. I don't think.
Well, should we just get right into it?
Let's do it.
listen
I'm
to
excited.
it
Let's listen to it one more time.
time.
Are you hyped?
I don't know if I go that far.
Okay.
Looking for Love, banger intro.
I like the crowd noise at the start. It's pretty cool, and then it turns into like a dance song. It's got a pretty good beat, decent lyrics.
Yeah, it's crowd noise, but it's like busy cafe.
Yeah.
So you kind of hear someone walking up and walking into this busy
yeah.
place.
Gets out
And
of
then,
his
yeah,
chair.
funky synth
Yeah,
beat.
this is where I was like, drums are sometimes almost jungle, but not quite, more modern. I like it. And then I like the airport ending too. Like that's the problem is I like all of these transitions, and then I went to listen to it in my car, and I was like, I don't like it anymore.
Oh, this one gets me going.
This
though.
one's good. Yeah, it's like they're all good.
This one gets me going. It's a simple song with bummer lyrics that are distorted enough to kind of seem upbeat. Like it's not easy to hear what he's saying, but when I was like reading them, I was like, huh. A lot of the lyrics kind of are more downer, The album was written after one of them had moved away, and the other went through a breakup after like a long-term partner. And so like a lot of them are
Guy had got married or whatever and broke up.
so it's like a lot of them are sadder. But you're too busy grooving. If I was in the club hearing this, I wouldn't care that it was like, I missed you so much. It's like, oh, cool.
I'm dancing.
I like the heavily synthesized voice.
Yeah.
Or vocoded voice, or I don't know how to describe it. The beat is all right. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, there's a lot of effects kind of bubbling in and warbling around and pulsing in and out. It's so hard to describe electronic music.
Yeah.
But there's so many layers, and I'm like, man, the production on this is so good. Even though it's basic,
sometimes
it's just cool.
It varies a lot for jungle too. Sometimes it's like almost chiptune, or like more 90s, early 2000s video game music.
Yeah, and the chiptune is a good way of putting it. Like even that bubbling sensation kind of is like a chiptune.
Yep. But
effect.
it's not like full chiptune. You've still got all those other like drum layers and stuff.
It's like not sprite, but like whatever sound effect you use for that. It's like, huh? And then it ends with somebody getting in an elevator and exiting in an airport.
Yeah.
Which I wrote is a little annoying.
I liked that. Thought it was cool, but
It's cool.
Didn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's just I want that on my playlist.
Totally.
Up next is Simply Won't Do. I like it as a follow-up because it has a similar beat but with a more reserved feeling. I think it's a little bit forgettable is the only problem.
It's got a good ooh.
There's
Got
like
good ooh.
there's 2 or 3 songs that I have like one line for notes, and this is one of them. I just wrote pretty good, a little repetitive, but I like the beat.
Love the beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I like the little high-pass filter bridge around a minute 50. It's a good touch. And that's really all it really is going for. Otherwise, it's just for 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't make me want to go to the club and beat up the beat, but here we are.
It's it ends with the sound of someone going on a jog.
Yep.
Yeah.
After that, it starts with the guy exhaling after stopping running, and it's higher than ever before.
This one's really good.
I love this.
This is where I was like, okay, it's jungle
This is more
time.
jungle, yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun.
It's like it's from the late 90s. It's
It
like,
gives me the stankiest face.
yeah,
I'm like,
it's got really airy vocals. I love the drums. I like it when it picks up a little about halfway through. The solo just after like 2.5 minutes is
Ooh,
really
your face
neat.
is getting stanky.
I don't know what else to call it, but a solo.
Plouffe already has a stanky
but,
face.
Yeah,
so.
all the time.
Yeah, I think it's the one at 2:30.
Yeah,
There's like the brief pause,
Yeah.
and it's just like the
Yeah.
synth. Oh,
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
so good.
really good.
It gets me going every single time. Yeah, 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it switches up a bit before ending. Just the really, the drums are very like trebly almost. Like
Yeah, the airy.
It's just so, it's hollow, but in such a satisfying way. And the loop is so short
Yeah.
that it really just keeps you focused while all that popping is
A friend
going
of
on.
mine
So
is in
good.
Brazil. She's there for Carnival.
Oh, cool.
And she's like, oh, I was like, oh, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just listening to the next album for the podcast. And she's, oh, what is it? And I was like, it's Disclosure. She's like, I only know Latch. And I was like, oh,
Great song.
everyone only knows Latch. But she's like, what's the one from the album you would recommend? I was like, Higher Than Ever Before. And she puts it on, and she's like, oh, this is funky. It's fun.
It is.
Yeah,
It's good.
So that was fun.
Yeah, it is. 100%. It's the one I go back to the most for sure.
Yeah.
I'm next a little bit. I don't have a ton of notes for this one. It kind of reminds me of Pop from 2008, 2010.
Sure.
It's like major Owl City cross classic
Yeah.
Deadmauss.
This-
It's very odd.
This is like the only track I'd probably just straight up cut from the album.
It's vapor wavy.
Yeah, I don't like the vocals very much. I do like the change up about 2/3 in quite a bit.
Oh, where it gets quiet.
Yeah.
And then it comes back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's where it starts to remind me of Deadmauss. I'm
Sure.
like, this is the vocals and that basic beat that kind of made Deadmauss popular back in the day.
One time I sold Deadmau5 an iPad, and he was very rude to me, and I don't like that guy.
He's
Classic.
rude to you?
Yeah.
That's
I
not
saw him at
nice.
Shambhala, but it was a test pilot where he does like actual analog DJing, like with a big board. They move stuff
yeah.
around, and it was really cool. But that's not fun to watch at a festival.
Sure.
Like watching a guy like manually like putting stuff around, and you're like, okay, it's gonna get cool eventually, but it didn't. Not when you're like in a huge. There was probably like 2,000 people
Yeah,
watching,
yeah, yeah.
and it's like, okay, this. I want to dance now.
Give me the good stuff, Deadmau5.
Play ghosts and stuff. This is a good song. It's just a little repetitive, and the vocals and lyrics leave a bit to be desired.
Yeah.
Like it's totally fine, but I agree, it doesn't really need to be here.
Yeah.
Especially when some of the other songs are so tight and good.
In 2024, will dubstep make a comeback? Remember
No.
when it was in every movie trailer and
Yeah.
game trailer?
Yeah, no, Skrillex makes other music now. It's over. We'll cover Skrillex's new album from 2023 because that's probably in the top 3 of 2023 for me.
Dang.
Really?
really good. It might actually be number
I've never
one.
listened to Skrillex. So.
It might be my number 1. It's really good. Up next is Go the Distance, not the Hercules song. I can go the distance. No.
It's got, yeah, we listened to that in Adam's car. It's got a swear in it, but the swear doesn't add anything to the song. So it's like misuse of a swear.
I didn't even notice it.
I didn't even notice either, so clearly it is.
Yeah.
It's a basic house song.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes.
bad. It's a little hollow. I like
It's got a
I like it because it has it builds up a little
Yeah.
bit over the 3 minutes, but the release at 3 minutes is quite good. So I was like, okay.
It's got a gassy, farty bass line. It's okay. It's just it's too long.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
synths, after the build up and release, the synths fade out pretty quick and then it goes back to feeling empty. I think this would go hard in a club,
Sure.
but
If
I'm
they're-
not. And a lot of these other songs aren't necessarily like club songs.
They're not a club banger.
So it's
Yeah,
like-
it's
okay.
dance songs, but not necessarily clubs.
Yeah, not like a dark
Yeah,
club song.
yeah.
Do you remember when everything had a dance mix? You get an album, then you
That's
get
like
the dance
still now.
mix. Is
If you,
that still a
if you
thing?
go to singles, like there are still a ton
Yeah.
I have
where
a
it's like, blank album, and they've released another one called blank the remixes. Like
Yeah.
that still happens. It's crazy.
So like I have a copy of David Bowie's "Loving the Alien," which I don't think is a dance song, and then it's like the whole one side is just dance remixes of this one song.
Yeah.
It's like that U2 album that had the one side that was just that one weird club album song I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
The one thing about Go the Distance, I am always a sucker for claps.
you are.
And so I kind of like this one.
Stomps and claps
Stomps
and
and
clicks.
claps and clicks.
Or are we gonna cover a Stompin' Tom Connors album?
No.
No, we'll do Lumineers. Then we'll see if he
God,
really
no,
likes
please
claps.
don't make me cover Hey Ho. That song sucks. That song's awful.
Up next, Someday. I really like this interlude.
Yeah,
the vocalizing
yeah.
and harmonies are so good.
Yeah.
So
It's a nice
Beautiful.
little
Thanks.
interlude that sets
This starts
up
off the
next
second
track.
side. I love it.
dope.
Oh, it
fine.
starts the second. That's
Yeah.
pretty
I
good.
really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
that's
really
a good
liked
way to do it.
It's only 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't know. Sorry, 3/4 of a minute.
There you go.
But it follows up with We Were in Love. And let me say, I were in love with this song too.
It sounds like a Yeji song.
It does.
Right?
Honestly,
Oh.
it does. If Yeji was just
Oh.
rapping on this, and
I never thought
probably
about
if it was
that.
a little,
Darker.
yeah,
Yeah.
even darker, but
Yeah, like dark
I
synth or
really like
something
this.
like
The
that.
simple
I didn't think
start,
about that.
Yeah.
so good. The build up and drop at a minute
Now,
11.
I didn't really enjoy Yeji, but I enjoyed this
Psycho.
one.
You're psycho for not liking
Well, I
Yeji.
mean, we mentioned that like it'd be darker probably if it was Yeji and
we all liked EP2 from
yeah,
Yeji.
her first one not so
Oh,
good.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking Joji. Never mind.
Oh yeah, Joji's very
Yeah,
different.
sorry. I've
This is
confused
not
the two
Joji.
of them again.
I
I didn't enjoy Joji. Yeji's fine.
I like this one. I thought it was a little more boring or repetitive than previous tracks, so I'm not crazy about it. But it ends with a dog showing up, so
It does.
they win that
What
one.
the dog doing?
Yeah, the build up and drop at a minute 11 is so good, and the energy's higher after it. The second drop at 3 minutes and 30 seconds is also very, very stanky.
Sure.
But then it goes back to just basic synth work and begins
Yeah.
to wind down at around 4 minutes. So I was like, meh. And then it ends with 40 seconds of rain, guitar playing, and dog petting.
Yep.
It's a good song, but again, very hard to throw into a playlist
Yep.
when 40 seconds is something else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too much. Too much. But it leads into sun showers. I love the rain that goes to the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, rain, okay. But no, it perfectly sets up the vibe of the song.
Yep.
It's
Like
very,
it is a sun shower song. It's called Sun
very
Shower. It feels like it.
ethereal, very airy.
Yeah.
This is a PS2 menu music
Yeah.
in a very good way.
I wrote it's a
Oh,
great,
sure.
great
Fair
background track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got bright synths. It, like I said, matches the song name. The only vocals is a little shout that pans between the left and right channels.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing, good driving the light of the setting sun, and you want to keep the energy up, but not to a crazy degree
Yep.
song, which is very niche, but it is that.
And the rain at the end is just so good.
Yeah, and it gets heavier and thunder
Yeah.
booms. I was like,
And then the
oh,
continuity of it into Purify was like really good.
oh my gosh,
Yep.
so good. After sun showers, Purify. The rain continues into the intro of this one as well, like you said, but the vibe is different.
Yeah, and it's only 2 minutes long. I don't mind it, but I wasn't crazy about this one either. I wrote that it's kind of weird.
It's nice and short.
Yeah. The vibe is different. It has a more electric feel with pulsing and buzzing synths fading in and out.
Yeah.
And with a shaker and tapping, panning through the speakers.
Yeah.
If you like ASMR, this is the song for
I
you.
believe Electric Feel is from a different album.
Heyo. It's just a long interlude, but it's pleasing in a retro future space fantasy kind of way.
I just thought it didn't really fit super well. Like, they transitioned into it nicely, but I just want more jungle and drum and bass and stuff.
It's almost like this should have just been the end of Someday.
Sure.
Oh,
Like
sure.
as like a
Yeah,
longer interlude.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It would have made it more, again, electronic before getting into
Yeah.
We Were in Love or Sun Showers kind of thing. And after that, it ends with the car door opening and closing, and Brown Eyes starts with the car starting and going through radio stations before suddenly a song playing. And then the song starts, but the first chunk of it sounds like it's coming through car radio,
yeah.
which I was like, move on. Like, I want to just hear the song now. I don't want
Sucks.
to hear it through that.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that kind of thing.
What does the Wish You Were Here thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's 50 seconds.
Yeah.
So almost
It's
a minute
it's
of that.
too long, yeah.
It does sound sort of like it's listening from a cassette tape.
It also, I wasn't 100% sure, but it kind of sounds like he turns it up twice in stages. So it's almost like, because it doesn't perfectly swell up to max volume. So it's almost like he goes to like up the volume and then up it again.
Okay.
That's kind of a neat
And
effect.
I kind of liked it. I didn't mind it. So
I like the vocal effect they're using. Sounds like Cassiopeia vocoder for I Love New York,
yeah.
which is a great song. I kind of wish this one was longer because you only get just about a minute of it outside the car intro
too.
and the ending fade out.
Yeah, that's.
I'm like, oh, come on, I actually like this, but a minute is unlistenable and it fades out. So I'm like, okay.
It's really hard because the rest of it's when it does go, it's going really well. But yeah, it's so much. It's like intro, outro. It's like, man, just take your car for a longer drive and keep the song going.
He got to the grocery store, so the car closed.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the vibe I got.
Talk on the phone.
This one's okay. I'm not crazy about the vocals, and the lyrics are kind of repetitive. I think it's an okay final track, but I think it's one of the weaker songs on the whole album.
I agree.
I think it's fine. I think the vocals are actually quite good. I think the two of them are talented, and I would have assumed this was a
Yes.
feature from a professional vocalist. It's a solid end of the album in the way that it kind of takes some things that they've been exploring through it, like the lighter kind of mood with faster beats and the singing, but it's maybe just a little bit too light and fluffy. Like, it's hard to end an electronic album.
Yeah, I was
But I don't
going
know
to
if
say,
this was it.
how would you have ended this album? I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I think that's why I kind of like it a bit more, because it could have just been like another random song and then it ends, but instead it keeps that vibe going and then leaves you on a positive note. It's just like not what I kind of like some of the complaints with the whole album are. It's not what I want from like a dance song or like a electronic song from Disclosure.
It does end the album very well. I just don't think it's as strong as the other tracks.
Well, let's talk about the album itself.
tell me more.
Show it to me.
Album itself, I talked a little bit about it last week in our episode about favorite album covers. Because the front is needlepoint.
Yeah, it's a really pretty.
Very cool.
I wouldn't have known had you told me. I thought it looked like a pastel painting.
Almost. I can show you. I mean, I think I showed you last time.
You want to show me your needlepoint? What do you want to do?
The cover is the two brothers. One has a hand on his face, a nice ring, in front of a window with some plants behind them, and then there's faces in the plants
Oh, I didn't notice
behind.
those. Yeah.
It's kind of in the style that they use for their album covers. So Latch has a picture of two kids with like this pencil line around their face. Caracol has a caracol with its line, their face with lines on it. So they have a very established style. So it's interesting to see how they kind of established it in here. And on the back, it's the back of the needlepoint, which I think is so
Yeah, it's
cool.
really
That's nifty.
So it's like all tufts and mess and
Yeah.
stuff like that, which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
My complaint is it's not a very thick jacket, so it feels kind of flimsy,
Oh, the worst.
which is too bad. It's not awful,
ooh,
but
it's whipping.
on the sleeve we have the lyrics, which are of course very basic, and then we have thanks on the other side. It says guys thanks, and it has a bunch of stuff. Howard's thanks and a bunch of stuff, and then disclosure. So I guess if they didn't want, neither of them wanted to thank them, but the band, which is both of them, wanted to thank, which is fine. Album itself is 180 gram, and then it's just needlepoint on one side and black on the other. Let me tell you, I got raked over the coals. The title of this episode, if you didn't notice, is probably something like Bell got ripped off. I got ripped off.
How much you pay for this?
I don't want to talk
$600
about it.
$600.
I don't want to talk
How
about
much
it.
did you pay?
$700.
You got to tell
I
us.
pre-ordered a copy from their site because I wasn't sure if we'd get a major release. I was like, this album's great. They're like, it's going up for pre-order. This is like in November.
Sure.
I was like, great. It's shipping from the UK, so I was like, this is
Sure.
gonna suck.
Yeah.
It was £50 which I was like,
With shipping or without?
Sterling.
that's with. But I was like, that's
Okay.
expensive.
That's not
but like
awful. With shipping, that's not awful. I
85
know.
Canadian dollars. When I read the amount, I'm like, it's foreign currency. That's probably not bad. Like, I doubt it's that big of a difference. It is.
Yeah.
Would I pay $85 again? No, because you can buy it for 25 Canadian from like other stores.
Amazon is
Oh.
currently selling it for $30.
Oh, that's okay. Look,
You got
I
If
got
it was-
raked over the coals.
if it was an indie artist, you're buying it off Bandcamp, and that's what the shipping costs, I would fully accept it. But the fact that you can buy it off Amazon for like $30,
the
dude,
shipping
that's
was a
rough.
huge chunk.
I've ordered a lot of stuff from like Germany and the UK, and it's always like 20 to 30 euro or pound just for shipping.
I'll go on Discogs and buy a copy for $30 now because I checked.
Yeah, that's
I checked
rough.
and I went,
That is rough.
oof, tough with 2 Fs.
Yeah.
I'm in shame. Would I buy it for $25?
100%.
Abso-freaking-lutely. I bought it for £50, but it was a good deal. But for it to come with like not really much anything
Yeah.
special, it doesn't come with a download code if you're wondering.
Oh my god.
Maybe a digital one in my email. I have no idea. The cover is amazing, but it's not that great of a jacket.
That's brutal.
Rough. I may as well start with my vinyl verdict. This is an excellent modern electronic album that touches multiple genres while keeping the vibe of the album consistent but not boring. I'm going to put Alchemy by Disclosure. This is not accounting for price.
Please count for price.
In the 6th spot, below Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the
Okay,
Beatles.
now,
And above Modern Sounds in the Country and Western Music by Ray Charles.
now account for price.
The price you paid. 5 spots lower?
6 spots lower. This is number 17 album.
It'd still be pretty high. Like I still would
It's
listen to
still
this.
good.
Yeah, I would still listen to this over Arctic Monkeys, probably. No, it'd probably drop 2 spots. It'd go under Ray Charles and Arctic Monkeys, be above Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Because that, although Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is great, it is very long. Like there's a lot of ups and downs stuff. This is a very good album that I like a lot. Like it's hard to talk about electronic music in a descriptive enough way to get the song across to a listener. But this is worth checking out. And it's a great spring vibe to shake off the gray. So like when I listen to this, I feel really positive after listening to it.
Sure.
$85 though.
Pretty rough. If it was limited edition pressing and you couldn't get it elsewhere, sure.
I'm a hoser.
Sure. But
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it stinks. It sounds good though. Like it does sound. No, I can't justify, man. $85.
Great news. I just paid $30 for it.
Yeah, honestly.
Like as we were sitting here.
Do you want to give me $50 instead?
How about I get the pleasure of rubbing
Buying
it in
it
your
for
nose
cheap.
later?
Yeah, man. Yep. Jamie, what do you think?
It's 11 out of 13. I think it's one of the best albums we've listened to this year.
Let's go. I'm pumping my fist like Plouffe did last week.
You forced me to listen to something I would never listen to, and I enjoyed it.
Let's go.
And then I bought a copy. But
$30
then I
is a
bought
great
it for
deal.
way cheaper than Bell did because Bell's an idiot.
Yeah.
What
Honestly,
an absolute buffoon. Who pays so much
$30 even
money?
I'm tempted.
I
That's
thought £50 wasn't that bad.
You got
It was.
hosed.
I didn't know until it came out of my account, and I was like, "What is this?"
yeah, it's rough.
Oh, what a buffoon. Anyway, Bell, what'd you think?
Plouffe?
Wait, Plouffe.
Yeah,
No,
you
Bell,
guys
Bell, we already
You
know.
know what I think? I think I paid too much. I think Bell got ripped off, like the title said.
That's a weird thing to say about Bell.
I think this album has a fantastic start, and but the second half is just not nearly as strong for me, and it's a shame because I love how those songs transition nicely into one another, but they're either like too experimental or they're too bland compared to the first like 5 or 6 songs, not counting Someday. Side 1 is like a 9 out of 10. Like side 1 is amazing, but the whole album together is like a 7.5 to me. The transitions can be frustrating or annoying, especially when you're trying to like listen to this while you're driving or working out or whatever, which is like, I would love to listen to Jungle while I'm driving or working out, but I probably won't ever put this song on a playlist because of that. And yeah, side 2, I don't know what it is. I was just getting bored of it by then. Maybe it's because of all the transitions. I'm not sure. I just didn't think it was as strong. Side 1 is great. And I'm tempted to buy it for $30. I'm tempted to buy the album just to put side 1 on sometimes.
I'll buy a
the
copy
art.
right now.
Plus the art.
Yeah, the art's fantastic.
I'll buy Plouffe a copy and still come out less than what you pay.
Yeah, but I've had this for 2 weeks.
oh, wow, 2 weeks.
Because I pre-ordered it in November and got it not long ago. Because remember on 3 episodes ago, I said, I have to go to the States to pick up this record.
yeah.
It was this one.
Well, don't pre-order.
And I found out doing research on this, I got ripped off.
What an idiot.
Hell yeah.
Well, this album rocks. Plouffe is wrong. Listen to it.
Hey, side one is
finish.
like 9 out. Side one is fantastic.
I'm gonna listen to this on the drive home. I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna put this in my record player.
Sure.
So when I go to listen to something, it'll be this.
Sure.
I really enjoy it that much. Check it out.
Is it round, dude?
Is it round?
Remember that time we bought that Frank Ocean one?
Listen, this isn't Dunk on Bell o'clock.
You paid a lot
Maybe
of
my
money for
next
that
pick
one
will
too.
be Blonde by Frank Ocean, so because it plays unlike this other copy I had that's useless to me now.
Nice.
Oof.
But next week we're not listening to Blonde. We're listening to Jamie's pick. What is it?
Well, technically this is a joint pick because I own it and he owns the more expensive one. We're listening
yeah.
to Tame Impala's
Currents.
Currents album.
We're going to talk about Plouffe's, right? Because I want to see the limited edition one.
I'm going to bring. I have the box set.
Let's
I
go.
have the nice collector's
I've actually
edition.
never listened to all of Currents.
Oh, really?
I
That's good.
really like Tim Impala.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
Well,
I've
you know
listened to
what?
tracks
The
when I
less
listen.
I know, the better.
Oh,
See you
so
next
good.
week.
Oh my god, that's such a good song.
No, it should be a good one. People often, including our number one fan, Sarah, who also tells me I'm wrong about Beyonce all the time. Shout out to her for always listening to every episode. But anyway,
You just wanted to shout her out. There's no reason to talk
no,
about it.
she always accuses me of listening to music that came out like 300 years ago.
It's very true. Most of the
It
time.
is very true.
Most
We
of the
call you
time.
out.
But which is fine. But here's one from 2014 or 15,
Something like that,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Something
I don't
That's
know.
still technically vintage.
Is it?
Vintage. Wow.
I listened to this music a lot at one point, and then I bought it. And then we'll talk about mine because mine is less superior than Plouffe's.
Yeah, you know what?
Bells.
This will be a good topic. We'll do our little
Buying records that
after
you can't
amble.
return.
No, good single artist bands like
Oh,
coming to
single
mind would be like
artist?
Foo
Oh.
Fighters,
Foo
Gorillaz, Tame Impala, like all these ones where
Is
it's
Foo
like
Fighters really single? Like,
yeah, because it was
It was
just
Dave Grohl on the first album. He played
yeah,
every
he
instrument.
played everything,
okay.
and then they forced him to get a band.
Right.
Same with like Gorillaz. Is it really Damon Albarn?
No,
Like,
but
Did,
yeah.
did they force him to get a band, or did Pat Smear just need work?
first of all, last name Schmier. I feel bad for whoever that man is.
Yeah.
It's a stage name.
Pat
Yeah.
Schmier. Can you think of any other good solo? I mean, I guess Jimi Hendrix would be one.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
Cher.
solo artists.
Well, that's just a
She's
singer.
synonymous too.
That's just a singer.
Michael
what about
Jackson.
a band?
Oh,
I'm trying to look through my.
single.
Anybody
person.
who has and like the Sam Roberts band. It's like anyone who's just the name and band.
Yeah, I wonder.
just
Steve Miller Band?
bought an album recently. Delicate Steve.
That's a sick name.
I'm
Oh, you bought Delicate Steve?
yeah, I own After
Be-
Hours.
because
Scooby
Colin?
Snacks. What?
Yeah.
Colin?
Yeah, Colin always shows me Scooby Snacks.
Dude, I've been listening. I bought this album like months ago.
Call Colin.
I got to tell Colin
Yeah.
that I own it then, because yeah, if he
Yeah.
loves Scooby Snacks, which is
Bring it. Do you own it tomorrow? Do you?
I do
bring
own
it
it.
to work tomorrow. Show it to him.
yeah,
He'll love
sure,
this.
that's
Yeah, I
pretty
wanna
funny.
see it.
Yeah,
Colin,
it's really
So Colin is the production assistant at the office, but every so often he'll come up and be like, "It's sticky purple," and I'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Then he showed me like this clip is from it's like this band is called Delicate Steve, and I'm like, the cartoon is hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. If you like that one, check out all that guy's other work. It's hilarious.
Delicate Steve.
No. Well, I mean Delicate Steve, but like the guy doing the comic,
cartoons?
The
Yeah,
cartoon,
the
yeah.
cartoon stuff is great.
They're very funny. Yeah, I watched that and I was like, oh, okay. I like the guitar that's in the background, sure. And then I looked it up.
I heard something about Scooby Snacks.
Yeah. I looked him up on Bandcamp after and I bought the album, but he's
good.
pretty good. I think he's mostly solo.
Delicate Steve. That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't know
That's
Colin likes
wild.
it. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
hilarious.
you better message Colin about that.
Yeah, I'll totally let him know. It's a great album too. I really dig it. It's a good
Anyway,
guitar album.
we'll see you next week where we covered not Delicate Steve, Tame Impala's Currents, and I'll tell you
Delicate
about.
Kevin.
I'll talk about how
Kevin's never delicate.
Shout out to my friend Kevin who listens to this podcast.
Your friend
But-
Tame Impala?
No, he's not in Tame Impala. Anyway, we'll talk about how I own a record that was shaped like a roller coaster and how the retailer I bought it from wouldn't take it back.
Very cool.
And we'll talk about Plouffe's much superior copy.
Very good. It's
See you
got a
next
flexi disc in it.
Bye.
Very nice.
Bye.
What's a flexi disc?
It's a disc you can flex.